oops, at the work you guys did in your groups on Monday. And then we'll talk about, so we can go over the standard form representations of the arguments that you came up with. And then after we do that, we will talk about some possible ways of criticizing, of critiquing each of these arguments, okay? So group one from Monday came up with this, downloading books. This is for Forcehimes. We'll do Forcehimes first, and then we'll do Luck second. Downloading books is permissible. That would be the first premise. Second premise would be downloading books from a library is similar, we should say relevantly similar to renting from a library or to checking books out of a library. Therefore, it is permissible to borrow books from the library. Okay. Does that seem like a good argument to you guys? It does seem like, I mean, in terms of the form, if you put the premise, instead of saying premise and case, if you numbered those two premises, that would be a little more proper. You have a second premise that does draw an analogy, although you want to be specific and say that, the things being compared are relevantly similar, because things might be similar without being relevantly similar. So the form is, generally speaking, largely on track. What about the content here? Are there any problems here?
I think they got it mixed up.
Yeah. So what's mixed up here?
The downloading books is the controversial part.
Okay, right? Yeah. So the first premise, right? Remember, in an argument from analogy, should be an uncontroversial claim, right? So the permissibility of downloading books is probably that's probably more controversial than the permissibility of borrowing books from the library. Most of us have borrowed books at some point or another from some library somewhere, right? Yeah. So this argument kind of gets it backwards because it starts with the controversial premise and then the conclusion leads to the uncontroversial premise. So if you flip the conclusion and the premise here, you'd have something closer to a pretty good rendering of that, right? So same thing here with the second